Hello there! Today I'll show you our new updates of HotelFriend property management system. I will show you our new room rates overview, our invoice customization settings, we'll show you improvements to company invoicing and company's import, also guest data deleting, task attachments, deal scoping, and more. Let's get started from room rates overview. So we added this new section to room rates module, which allows us to see all our room rates grouped by room types on one view, where it's easy to filter, navigate, and see the whole picture and state of our room rates. First of all, what data is being displayed on this view? This is the data from our room rates section. So virtual rates or seasonal pricing are not included to this view. Also, we display only those rates and prices that are set. So for example, if I don't have one person price set for the standard rate, this price will not be displayed here. So let's see in more details. Here we can see all our room types and all the room rates that are available for this room type. For example, for double room classic, I have reduced and standard rates available. I can hover over the room rates name and I can see details such as meal price, cancellation fee, source, cleaning fee. Also, I can see the price for default amount of persons that are set there. In this case, I have default price for one person, which is 55.5, and other persons also. For example, for standard rate, I can see both prices for one person and two persons. Also, I can see prices by dates, and I can see availability by these dates, and I can navigate this view with this set of buttons here. So I can navigate to the to future, or I can go back to today's date. I can navigate to the past and see what was going on with my rates for that time. Also, if I have lots of rates or lots of room types, I can search here by room type or room rate. For example, let's just search by classic. I can see that I have room type double room classic, and I can see all the details about this room type. Also, if there is a matching room rate here, I can see all the room types which has this rate set. Also, I can filter this view by meal types that are set in my hotel. For example, let's see situation for no meals. I can filter by cancellation policy. I can filter by source. So for example, reception, or let's see booking engine. And I can also filter by cleaning fee if any set in my hotel. This is pretty much it. Nice and easy view and ability to see the whole picture and state of our room rates. Let's move on to our next feature, which is invoice customization. So to Settings General Invoice tab, we added new feature which allows us to customize certain section of our invoice to decide what information we want to display in our invoice, and also maybe style some labels with bold. Also, there is option for certain sections to display guest names next to the charges, or to display header at all in the invoice for pre-printed letterheads. Perhaps it can be disabled. We can also manage our logo, and we can manage our translations here. So for example, I have 4 languages set in my hotel. I can edit all these translates on this view. Let's see in more details. So for guest info, for example, I can decide what fields I want to see in my invoice. And for example, I want the name of the guest to be in bold. Same for hotel info section. I can decide whether I want to display this section at all, or I can turn it off if I don't want to display it. Or again, which fields I want to show, which fields I want to emphasize. With the logo, if I disable this header information, the logo will stay there. So in order, if I want to remove logo from invoice, I simply have to remove the downloaded file from the logo section on this view. And also for guest info and company info. For guest invoices, we can specify separately if we want to see guest name to every billing item in the invoice. Same for the company. Sometimes we are splitting charges between few people and we want to see the names next to charges. This option, this toggle helps us to do so. Also for company invoice, I can decide whether I want to show guest list on the company info section or no. Sometimes useful feature, and principle is the same. I decide what fields I want to show and I click the fields I want to make in bold. And don't forget to save your changes, it's very important. To see how it works, I'll combine this with showing you the feature about company invoicing, and there we'll see all these new cool features. So I created a reservation for the company. Now, when I create reservation for the company will be set as payer. So all my guests that I added will be in the guest section and company will be a payer. Let's try to create invoice for this company, but before that, I'm going to show you that I already created some orders and I split charges between two guests to show how it's going to look in the invoice. So let's go and try to create our invoice. So we can see that our create invoice model for the company changed a little bit. So I can select the date range and also I can select the guests for whom I want to select charges. Here this company only have 2 guests, so if I don't select anything, I just simply see everything that is not invoiced. As I open this action, create invoice action in the context of reservation, all my items that are referred to that reservation are placed to the right side of this model. And I can see all the charges split by guests in this view. Nothing new. Also here, I can select specific guests or I can delete some guests. So for example, I want both guests to be displayed in the invoice. So I have to specify those guests here, otherwise they won't be displayed there. And let's review our invoice first. So my invoice is opened and I can see that the information that I set on the invoice settings is displayed how I set it. So company name is in bold here. So it's displayed in bold there, and I can see company name, address if set, and all other fields. If they are set in the guest card, in the company card, they will be displayed on the invoice. Also, I decided to show the guest section, and here I can see the guests that I selected on the first or second step of the model. Also, I can see that I set to display guest names next to charges, so I can see Alexander and Simon positions in the invoice. Okay, we previewed this invoice. Let's create and pay for it. Okay, let's see invoice again. It's already paid. And also, let's close the model And let's see payment details. So now the payer will be set as company everywhere in the system, in accounting module, or in payment details. So this is pretty much it about the invoice customization and changes to company. Let's move on to our new feature. We are now allowing to manage guest data. So for example, we are deleting guest data by guest request or after some time. So we added this action to the guest card now. This action allows us to delete and erase all the data that helps to identify the person of the guest. And it can be done only if all the charges of the guests are paid. So the guest paid for everything. There are no open charges for that guest. So that guest simply disappeared from the view. So for example, if I try to search for Simon, I won't find it. It's not in my system anymore. The data is deleted. What happens to the reservations that guest had? This guest is marked by some random identifier. So we know there was some guest here, but we don't know who he was. But we saved the history of reservations. So the reservation data itself is saved in our system, but the guest is completely deleted. It won't be available on any search in the system. So, yes. Also, I'm going to show you the new feature about our deals. We added the possibility to copy the deals. So for example, you want to quickly create some deals that have something in common. You can simply use this copy action and the deal details will be opened. You can edit it as you like, as you wish. You can change prices, set however you like it to be, and save. The new deal by default will be off and we'll have the copy before the name if you didn't set any name. Simply and fast action. Also, there's something new to our tasks module. Let's go and take a look. So we slightly improved our attachments. If I attach any PDF or picture to the task, I can have a tiny look on it, I can download it, or I can delete it. This both actions available both on edit task on the task list tab or in tasks task tab on our scheduler for tasks. This is pretty much it about some new features. Also, we were improving the speed of some pages. We optimized some and redesigned and fixed layout in many places. Also, we speed up the email templates page. Doesn't matter how many languages and translates you have set. Now it's loaded much faster with all these templates. And also, we made some changes to our email templates. Now, if a hotel has not set any logo or anything, we don't attach our default logo to the emails, so they will be pretty much empty. So till I download some logo, my guest will see email in this way. Also, we removed some information about our application in cases a hotel doesn't have our mobile concierge included to his hotel rate. This is pretty much it. Thank you all for attention. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Was happy to present you this new updates and good luck.